Hello friends, good morning. It's Sunday, you missed all of Saturday. Rather, I did. So it was our first weekend back and we spent a lot of time doing tidying, writing more thank you cards, just sort of home admin. We went out for a meal last night at Thai Elephant in Richmond, which was very nice. And other than that, it was a bit of a sort of shopping day and getting the house back in order. It's still not there, but it's better. And today is a lovely day. And so after we've had some lunch, we're going to go to Buckingham Palace because we haven't been to a palace in literally, weeks. So that's what we're going to do this afternoon.
Welcome to another episode of Toby's Stupid Vlog.
Because it's officially autumn, I was expecting to step out and it to be much colder than it looked. But actually, I've got a jacket on and I'm now too warm. So there we go. So summer hasn't quite left yet, but autumn is trying to punch its way through, as you can see. I'm hoping that summer wins the battle in the short term. So much to my great annoyance, it looks like I'm going to be working 4 of the next 5 weekends. I'm very displeased about this, and there's not a lot I can do to get out of it at the moment. But that's very frustrating, especially when these are the last few good weekends of the year in terms of weather. So that one weekend that isn't is the one of the 5 is the one where we wanted to do something, possibly go away or do something that was more fun than sitting in a studio. But I don't think we can really justify the amount of money we're going to have to spend to do that. So instead we'll just go out for a nice meal and try and make the most of it. That Friday beforehand is treat yourself day. Got to think of a way of actually doing that. I mean, we've just been on a massive honeymoon and that's been quite a treat. But that's the whole point of treat yourself day, is it only happens once a year. So I don't know what I'm going to do for that. But really what I've got to focus on the time being is finding days off in between if I'm going to be working Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. And I haven't worked out to do that yet, so we'll have to wait and see. Here we are in Victoria on Buckingham Palace Road. That's Buckingham Palace. Guess where we're going? Yeah. So we're going to go and see the Queen's Gallery, have a look at some Canaletto. We're not going to see the staterooms because they're ridiculously expensive. But maybe one year we might. This isn't the moment. That's where we're going. That's where we've just been. There's the front of Buckingham Palace. So the Queen's Gallery is around the side where we've just been. And obviously, like all the royal exhibitions, you can go in for a year after you get your ticket, as long as you get it stamped. So the Canaletto thing finishes quite soon, so you might have missed a chance to see that. But if you get a ticket, you can see all the exhibitions in a year, and there's often 3 or 4 different ones that you can see for your entry price. So we're wandering back to Green Park. It's very nice with the colours coming in the sun. Towards Piccadilly, which is up there. Completing our Italian theme, that's the Italian Embassy and the Turkish Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago High Commission and the Belgian Embassy, and then number 35, is it 35? Is part of the German Embassy, one of these, no 34 I think, is part of the German Embassy. That's the old East German Embassy, that is now part of the overall German Embassy. That's where the High Commissioner has like little parties and things. And then you've got, is that Qatar I think, and then the next one looks like one of the former Yugoslav republics, I don't know which one. We're nearly at Sloane Square Station, but we just stopped to admire this amazing balloon formation on this private residence here in Kensington. I mean, all these residences around the embassies are ridiculous, but that balloon formation is particularly silly. This is much more like the weather I expect in autumn. It's kind of warm, it has rained, it's grey. It's kind of confused and doesn't really know what to do next. Anyway, it's still quite pleasant because there's no wind and it stopped raining. So, you've got to carpe diem a bit with this time of year. You've really got to take every decent bit of weather when it comes. I mean, end of September it can be fantastic, as it was yesterday. It can be a bit like today, misty and wet. By the time we get to October, the good days will be massively outnumbered. This is why it's going to be quite tough staying in this country all the way through winter. Oh yes, what problems I have. I usually like to go somewhere that either does cold properly or that doesn't do cold at all, as opposed to this sort of in-between nonsense. But you know, there is something charming about it initially. It's only after the third month that it's less charming. So this is why you have to find fun things to do, which is why we went up to town yesterday. Went to the Queen's Gallery. As I mentioned, it was very enjoyable, and well, not least because I love Canaletto and pictures of Venice. But also, the advantage of going to any of the historic royal palaces is that if you get your ticket stamped on the way out, you can go there again any time in the next year. As I mentioned that before, but we've done it in Windsor. We'll be doing it at the Queen's Gallery, and to be honest, there's a lot of other historic royal palaces that we haven't been to that I'd quite like to visit. I've been to Hampton Court a fair number of times, but not recently. Tower of London, actually the staterooms at Buckingham Palace, very impressive as well. You can do it up, I think you can do it at Balmoral, and yeah, so you've got to really make use of those things to really make the most of your weekend, so you're not just sitting indoors kind of going, oh, weekends aren't long enough. Good morning. It's a little bit earlier today because I wanted to get in good time. However, that's immediately been scuppered by the trains, so I'm probably going to get in about normal time. All best laid plans, etc. Anyway, so we've been back nearly a week, and I have to say I'm not adjusting well. Usually I'm kind of back into it pretty quickly, and the nature of my job kind of allows me to kind of ease myself in and out a bit of work patterns, and it somehow it doesn't seem to have worked. And at the moment I'm trying to work out what's not right, and I think I broadly know, and I'm going to have to try and work out what to do about it. But broadly speaking, at the moment I'm scheduled to work 4 weekends out of the next 5, and whilst I don't mind working weekends explicitly, and I have done many times before, you kind of, it's alright when it's one here and there. When it's all of them, it's a bit difficult because you have to sort of schedule in your own days off, and it means that you basically don't see anyone except for your work colleagues, and that's not great. It's a slight mist this morning, nothing too serious. It's actually quite pleasant, but as I was saying, yeah, I'm not very happy with my work hours at the moment, and I need to do something about that. And that can be one of two things. One of them, which is saying no a little more, because I've said yes a lot in the last couple of years deliberately, and it's built up a lot of work, which is good, but it's kind of taken away my freedom, which is the whole reason that I changed the nature of my job in the first place. So that's one option. Another option is just to charge more money for things I don't really want to do, which I think I might do quite shortly, to be honest. That's a random chicken, but either way something's got to change. Also, if I'm honest about it, it's the nature of the work more than the nature of the hours. Actually, if it was hugely satisfying stuff, I don't think I'd mind working Friday and Saturday, Sunday as much as I do. I think the issue is that it's genuinely thankless stuff, and didn't think it was going to keep going, and it has. So we are where we are. We need to change that. Welcome to another edition of Shit Car Parks of Britain with Neil Bentley.
Hi.
This is one of the silliest car parks I've ever seen, because they keep wasting space, like by putting these stupid pillars in the way. Look at all that yellow box every car park
We
is.
seem to have found
found
a
a
massive space with a lovely
drainage
loading
cover.
bay.
It's just really dumb. Like the way they've laid it out is really, really stupid. So there's not many spaces. Oh well. So I'm at Medidata at the moment. This is one of their their new office in Hammersmith. You might remember I filmed in Hammersmith before. And they've moved around the corner. This office is incredibly impressive, and the view's pretty good. It continues all the way around past there. There's a big balcony, which I've got a time lapse running on at the moment. I'm just setting up this camera to go and do some more shots. This is the view from the roof. It's pretty good. There's the GoPro going one end, and there's GoPro. Hello, happy Thursday. So I'm working stupid hours at the weekend, so today is my last normal-ish day. I say normal-ish obviously because I have to go to bed rather early, because I have to be up at 2 AM, and then everything sort of gets pushed out of sync. So the first night is really early, so we start work at about 3, and then the following night is 5, and the following day is 7. So it's kind of a weird, it starts terribly and gets progressively more bearable. Needless to say, I'm taking Monday off. So I'm going to make the most of today, relax a bit, go through some holiday footage, go on a little tour around Kew, and try and sort of prepare for the onslaught that is going to be F1, which is going to be unpleasant, I should imagine, just from a technical perspective. So I was in USP yesterday for the first time since I got back, and obviously I'm in there for the F1 things, but not a lot else at the moment. At least that's the plan. Have to see how things go. When we got back, I was able to deny that it was autumn because there was one day of summer left, but looking around, it's very hard to deny it now. Anyhow, despite all the autumnalness, it's actually very pleasant, and the sun is trying to come out. It's supposed to be quite nice when we go on this tour around this nursery later. This is a garden nursery. It's one of the bits of Kew that you don't get to see very often, so I'm quite interested to see that. And I know I always moan about working overnight, and obviously I'm freelance, so I can choose not to do it. It's just my body clock takes a pounding, and I always regret it, and then I'll do it again. So that is the very definition of stupid. So it's 4:45, and I'm heading out to go and see a bit of Kew Gardens I've never seen before, which is the Economic Botany Collection at the Herbarium. And this is a special invite from the Kew Society, and I've never been in the Herbarium, and most people have never seen this exhibition. And it's a little tour being given by the man in charge, so that should be quite exciting. And as you know, I always like to see bits of the gardens I've never seen before. So I hope you've had a chance to see the honeymoon vlogs. They're very long, and that's why I put chapter markers in the description, so you could jump into a particular day. They're always going to be very long because I wanted to kind of document as much as possible. It's kind of hard to edit them, I have to tell you. It's hard to edit a holiday when you've come back from it, because you're just looking at it just thinking, oh, I want to be back there. But it's done, so at least we can relive them later on. That's a nice Tesla, isn't it? Sorry, lost my train of thought there. But yes, it was a very good holiday, and it was a very hard holiday to come back from. But I'm still very glad I filmed as much as I did. This place is pretty special though. I may have to come in here again this weekend just to help me de-stress a little.
So you load your bark with things like alkaloids, things like caffeine and strychnine and so on, but it tastes very bitter, and if you still persist eat them will make you feel quite unwell. And the difference, of course, in medicine and poison is just in the dose. Anyway, barks all look rather similar. So in Chinese medicine there's a lot of substitution, and some of that's official substitution, that if you're in northern China there might be one plant that doesn't grow in southern China, it's a big country, so you use a different plant but it has the same effect. But there's also a lot of unofficial substitution, either accidental or deliberate. Work here on whether or not these actually work as medicines, but we work with a lot of people who do that work in medical research centres. Presumably smoked in a ball on the banks of the Amazon. Still see people doing this. Yeah. And this is hard rubber. It's called vulcanite or ebonite. If you look with a magnifying glass, you can see sulfur crystals in here. They're very heavily vulcanized. And it's made from a plant that probably none of you know is Salmisia. This is an alpine plant. You can grow it in the UK, and we do grow it in our alpine garden. And I used to be a national collection at one point of a wild fig tree that grows in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Have any of you been there? Keep waiting.
Where are they?
So they're halfway between India and Indonesia. Very, very isolated area. And they were owned by the British, and they were used as a prison for campaigners for Indian independence. Yeah. They're now owned by India. I've been working with an Australian academic writing a book about the history of the Wardian case that will be co-published by Kew next year. So we used to think this was the only original to survive. Two more have turned up at Kew in sheds in the gardens. I'd like to know what else is there. And very nice and orchestrated event work in the collection.
It's a lovely light again, evening. That was fascinating. There's some incredible things in that collection. I can get to see all of them, but there's things like there's Egyptian papyrus, which is like 10,000 years old. Lots of things from like last 150 years especially, and lots of Chinese medicine, which you saw at the beginning. Good morning. I think it's the morning. Just. It's just coming up to midday on Friday, which means I have been up for 10 hours. And I'm very, very tired because I only had about 1 or 2 hours sleep last night because I just couldn't get comfy and I wasn't very tired. But now I am. So I'm going home to rest and relax, and then I've got to be back in the office for the remaining bits of F1 at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Yay to me. Hopefully I'll film one more clip to wrap up this week, but right now I'm just going to lie down a bit. Hello, it's me from the far future here, just to nip in very quickly because I realised as I was editing this video that I forgot to do Word of the Week. So this week's Word of the Week, rather appropriately, is to forget, because that's what I've done so spectacularly. So first of all, forget in German is vergessen, spelt as is on screen currently. That is the verb to forget, so obviously there's plenty of declinations if you're really interested to know how to do I, you, we, etc. Then look it up. And in Italian, the verb to forget is dimenticare. Again, spelt as is currently appearing near my chin. So, there we go, vergessen and dimenticare. Those are German and Italian for forget. And hopefully next time I won't. Thank you for watching this week. I barely got up again to actually do anything on Friday. I was completely exhausted. I'm speaking to you from the future, so I hope you'll join me next week where I'll be in this room with some limes. Good night.
Toby